Hello, guys.
Hello, mate.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello.
So, congratulations on all of your films being officially selected for the second year of our little festival, TIC Film Festival. So, the purpose of this panel talk is really to delve into what does representation really means for all of you guys as filmmakers, as storytellers. But I thought we'd just go around the circle and talk about your films and why you made them, essentially, and what was the sort of purpose and motivation for making them. So if we could start with you, Kelvin.
Yeah, so I directed and made Rocket, which was the rugby documentary, which was shown second. And we were lucky enough to be approached to make it by MenCap, which is quite a large charity that promotes the causes around learning disabilities. And they saw another documentary which was about a swimming group in Shoreditch in East London, which is run by these two black guys, and it was kind of dispelling these myths around that swimming isn't for black people, and it's not from people from certain demographics and backgrounds. And they created this amazing documentary, and they put on this big event, and people went to watch it, and it did really well for them. And MenCap saw that, and they said, we want to do this, which was quite an interesting thing, because we run a production company, and brands and organisations, they don't really approach us to make films like that, like long form films, because everything's 60 seconds, stick it on Facebook, let's put some paid behind it, all that kind of thing. So for us to get this opportunity from a good charity like that, doing good work, and a story that needs to be told, that was an incredible opportunity for us to kind of really commit to that, and we made that over about 3 months and really invested in it. And now, it was the first thing I really made where I've kind of felt, this is actually all right. If we could share this in film festivals, right? And so it's first time doing that, and we've had a good reception from it, and come to events like this to meet fellow filmmakers, and just to get it seen on the big screen is a bit of a buzz, really. So that's why we made it, really.
That's great. Andy, could you talk about Happy Days a little bit?
I mean, my one, my friend does history, and it was based on just a recently declassified file. So it was only declassified like a year ago about this kind of story about them making, adult films to blackmail other people. So I thought it was quite interesting, and I just decided to start a Kickstarter and just make it.
Great. And Sui, you've got a film called Sandwich, which was shown. So could you talk a little bit about that and your background as well, and why you made it?
I am essentially an actor, and I have been dicing with the idea of making my own stuff for quite a long time, and writing and making stuff, because I suppose with the frustration of roles that were offered, there's just a lot, to do with certain industry things. But essentially, I just really wanted to make something. I've always been keen on it, and I kind of I've got a lot of friends that have made stuff, and I took inspiration from that, a lot of it, and they've made some amazing stuff for basically zero budget. And I always thought you kind of need money to make stuff, basically, to make stuff decent, to a decent standard. And I kind of am of that thinking. I always want to make stuff that stands out and is of a decent standard. But I had no money, basically, yeah. So that was a killer problem. And I decided that I wrote something, and I wrote Sandwich, and I kind of sort of liked it, you know what I mean? And I've written a lot of things, and it kind of struck a chord with me. And I'm a big believer that if the writing is strong, I think a lot of people instantly attach themselves to your work, and so if I believe in it, then I'm sure other people would possibly believe in it, and obviously not as well. It's kind of it's a personal choice. But I ended up sort of assembling a really amazing cast and crew, and just helped me along the way, basically, for practically next to no money, and it was tough. from beginning to end. I'm still in the festival submission stages, and it's great that it's shown here, obviously, and I've already had it shown at the BFI as well, which was amazing as well. So that's just amazing, just for a first-time filmmaker to have something like that, to have that profile given to you. But I mean, I wrote it, I made it, and I decided that by hook or by crook, I was just gonna get it completely over the line. So once the festival submission stages are all done and dusted, then I can close the chapter and I can kind of like move on to other projects that I'm interested in, basically. And also Asian, like, you know, British East Asian representation was a big factor as well in it. And just a kind of like satirical sort of, so like, you know, it's kind of got my sort of like humor attached to it, like, you know, from like growing up in Scotland, basically, you know, which what I can kind of see in it anyway. So yeah, that's it.
Right. And Horace, you've got a feature that we showed, Unexpected Reunion.
Sorry.
Thank you.
So and the fusion between UK and Hong Kong. So
Yes.
could you talk a little bit about that and what made you?
Well, I'm originally from Hong Kong, so definitely and also Cantonese is my native language. So definitely I really want to make a film that will embrace the Cantonese culture. But this is a film, I don't have much funding. I'm just use my own money, and I don't even use a big crew. I actually use a Robert Rodriguez way, rebel with our crew. So I'm even self-shooting, like I also camera operate most of the scenes. Actually, the funny thing about this film is I actually have actors and location first, then I have the story later, because I want to see what I have on the plate first, because I don't want to take ages to find the location or ages to find the specific actors for the role. So after that, you know, I have Lillian and Chelsea, two are very good actors. Then I'm confident to go ahead to make this project and get this happen. Yeah, I know there's not much funding into that, but instead I took a 12 months VFX online course to master all these compositing, green screen. So there's some of the scenes I use green screen. I'm not sure if you guys realize, but actually that make a difference to the film. And I think that was a very good memory to me. I actually made this 4 years ago, 2015, but it took me 4 years to finish during this post-production, because during these 4 years, not only this film, also I have a lot happen in my life. I have a newborn child, moving into a new place. A lot of things happen that really distract my post-production process. But at the end, finish it and submit here. And you guys select this. I think this is a very a good ending, you know, to me, for this whole journey.
Well, yeah, no, I think that's all of you have highlighted some really valuable points, but I kind of wanted to explore a little bit deeper some of the real challenges that indie filmmakers, you know, like yourselves, really face. So could you talk about some of the challenges that you face with these films? So Kelvin again. Yeah.
I mean, everyone's going to, you know, the first thing people are going to talk about is budgets and you know, and things like that, and then getting it seen, you know, and getting them out through the right channels, because that's sort of half the battle. With kind of like the work I've done in the past, it's sort of documentary led, and you know, the stories kind of come to us. With all of the best work we've done is we've just found a great story, and like it's there. You see it in the work here. It's, you know, if there's a good story there, doesn't really. I mean, budget is going to be a part of that, but the story and the quality of the storytelling is always going to come through. So you know, that is the most important thing. But then in terms of budget, everyone gets really bogged down with cameras, gear, all that kind of stuff. And really, the most important thing is your story, your actors, and your locations, really. And if you get them three right, then you can make something that's coherent, entertaining, and looks okay on the screen. But you know, we talk about filmmaking being difficult as filmmakers, and we always like to have a bit of a moan about it, and we're kind of these tortured artists. Reality is that filmmaking is never been more accessible now, really. And that, I think that's the message we need to get out to aspiring filmmakers, young people and, you know, older people, that, you know, you pick up your phone, get a cheap DSLR and start shooting stuff, really, because you never know.
I mean, that's pretty good. So I think about it. I mean, like I said, it's all about budget and the cameras. It's all. I mean, if I add to that, I mean, personally as well, I think it's just kind of. It took me a long time to get the confidence to gain crew and say to you, like, you know, you're good enough to make the film as the lead, you know, director and writer, and say it's good enough. And it's just it's just having a confidence to try to convince people to follow you and say this is a good project, because that's quite hard as well. I think that in terms of when you have no money, you have no thing, but you have to like sort of give the sell. So you have to sell a little bit, go like, this is a great thing, check the script out, and then hopefully other people can collaborate with you, and then that's a massive part, because even though it's easier than ever before to do it all yourself, by having just a tiny part of each individual crew helps the standard go a lot higher and makes it stretch a lot more than you think you can do. So I mean, I was quite lucky that a lot of friends could help out, and that kind of that collaboration gives it a kind of like a, you know, high quality, which could help become a better thing. So if you can, I mean, you know, I think that's all I can add, really.
Yeah, Kelvin's a really good point, actually. It's never been more. Oh, that helps. That's a really good point about accessible filmmaking, and I think people should just go out and do it. Like I said, I kind of really set really high standards for myself, even though I've got like no money. But really, you should, you know, just get it done. That's kind of, you know, the attitude you should have. But a couple of things that as much as like obviously we're talking about it's like budget and money and stuff like that. It's like time. It's like you never have enough time, basically, on these things. And I suppose that comes with money. But I mean, you can kind of like try to formulate a way for yourself where, you know, you've just got to try and, you know, micromanage that time that you have. And because you've got like, you know, if you've got a cast and crew working for you, you know, and if it's all like, you know, a lot of favors being given to you, then you have to really kind of utilize that, basically. And a couple of things I picked up from, like I said, from just watching people making films and being inspired by it. Was one, if you're going to do like a film like that's low budget and like, you know, no one's getting paid or anything, then try to, I know it's difficult, but try to just get like a cast and crew that are really sort of like, you know, a harmonious group, like, you know, that are like, you know, in tune with it, and there's not going to be any kind of like, you know, attitudes or anything like that, and kind of say, you know what I mean, but you know, you can kind of, you know, and gather that from, you know, because it probably will mostly be people you know, and then people you know friends of friends type thing. Do you know what I mean? So there's that, and also food. Like food is no, seriously, like food is like, you know, you just make sure everyone's got stuff to eat all the time. Like make sure you cover. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? It's like art imitating life in my film, you know? But no, it's like, I mean, it's like, you know, so, I mean, one of the things was that I was just like, right, I mean, and I packed out when we arrived, like, I don't know if you, like, you know, I mean, I was pretty, like, you know, insomniac when I was making my film, you know, so I hardly slept. So I just remember getting up and making, like, a massive curry at, like, 1 o'clock in the morning. Just for the next day again. It actually was quite a good thing, because it actually went down really well. But like, and then like the table was just packed out with like, you know, loads of stuff, and everyone like, and if everyone's got energy and everyone's kind of like, you know, you know, just in terms of happy, in terms of like, you know, stuff that you can eat, then it really kind of like brings a real togetherness. I know it sounds really weird, but it really does bring it. That's what I felt anyway, you know. So. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah. Exactly. Make a good curry.
Yeah.
Horace.
Well, I guess these fellow filmmakers already share about the constraint, like from budget, time. Also, I think like in my position, because I have a job. I have a full-time job. I also I have a family with children, so making film nearly impossible. You know, like with this kind of lifestyle, I had to take advantage of the time. You know, when my family were away for 4 weeks, so that's why I have a window to make this film, and that's why, you know, the pre-production could be very, very, very limited. And I had to do it really, really fast. Sometimes because I make film actually during the weekend, and Monday to Friday basically is my pre-production time. So Monday to Friday, get the pre-production time, and Saturday, Sunday, get the actors ready, and then another Monday to Friday, another pre-production for the following weekend. So this is the battle I constantly have to struggle with. And not only that, but like feature is even a nightmare compared to making a short film. Like short film, 2-3 days, you concentrate all your time and money investing into it. But feature is pretty much the test of the perseverance, endurance, because you don't know how long it will take you to finish. You know, 15
4
days,
years.
15 days or 12 days. Yeah, of course, like 4. To be honest, I had a thought. I wanted to give up this project like during these 4 years. Like at that certain aspect, I'm not too happy about that. Like, this is not the film I want to make. Like, should I just give up? But sometimes, you know, like there's a saying, you know, every film has a life. So the film I make is pretty much like my baby. If I make the film halfway, I give up pretty much like abortion. I shouldn't do that, you know. So no matter what, even though maybe I don't 100% like the film, but maybe someone will like the film or at least want to see the film. So that's why at the end I still want to insist to make it. But I mean, during those 4 years, it was hard because no one paid you for that post-production, even that film. Sorry, but I mean, if you see any glitch or error in the subtitle, it took me whole week just to do the subtitle. it was dry, you know. It wasn't the most enjoyable part, you know. Like, there are a lot of boring things, you know, have to do during the post-production. Like, you have to get over it, and sometimes, you know, even your wife, you will not understand, you know, because she's not a filmmaker, she's not from the film industry. She'll say a lot like get the time to go out with the kids, you know, rather than, you know, being like so you constantly being alone or being lonely during this journey. But I guess, you know, you just have to believe in what you're doing, what you have in this product.
How many days filming did you have to?
The first unit was in April, about 15 days. But at the end, you know, it wasn't enough, you know, and so we make a few days in the summertime, and then later that year, I went to Hong Kong to spend 2 days with my uncle. Actually, my uncle played that role. Oh. Yeah, and like, he's not an actor, but he's perfect for the role, because what happened to his real life is pretty close to the character. So
Did you base the character off him?
Yeah. So he's perfect for the role, and I think it's better than ask someone to play that character, because he's just bring out the real experience from his life. You know, like, he lost his wife, you know, like earlier, like in his life. So yeah, I mean, I guess altogether about 20 days. Yeah, still a lot.
I mean, that's pretty impressive to get. Yeah, it's a lot of curry. I kind of want to shift the focus now into what the overall landscape of, I guess, film is at this current stage, in this age of Marvel and commercial film. Is there anything from your perspectives that you think is lacking, that you think that independent filmmaking can really offer, and an alternative that's missing from the commercial scene?
Testing. To be honest, these guys are probably better placed to answer this, because they, you know, do a lot of narrative, and that's not a world that I'm that experienced in. But I watch a lot of films. I love watching films. Most of them are indie stuff, because, you know, obviously I'm a hipster, you know, with this get up. But
Straight out of Shoreditch.
I've come straight from Shoreditch. But For me, like filmmaking has never been so exciting as it is in this moment in time. Regardless of the mighty juggernauts of Avengers, and we're in this we're just coming to the end of this sort of golden age of like superhero massive budget films, which have their place. But the creativity that is coming out from indie filmmaking, and we're seeing that. These are films made by new voices, from different backgrounds. We're talking about diversity. These films are breaking through. You could just look at Get Out, is like, $5 million film. It's grossed like hundreds of millions of dollars. And these are films that never would have been made previously before. So there's opportunities there, I think, for aspiring filmmakers. It's still going to be a long shot. That there are those instances of shorts being made and then uploaded to YouTube, and then they're just going viral, and then the big suits in LA come and like knock at your door and say, "Hey, do you want to make a feature?" That's becoming less and less, but there's still opportunities there, and I think it's these new voices that you see on the panel today need to tell their stories and their experiences and their perception of the world, and bring that to a wider audience, because that is going to bring creativity to what we see on the screens, and something new and different, really. So there's huge opportunities there for filmmakers like ourselves to get out there, really push the boundaries, and make things that have something new to say, I think. So
I don't know. In terms of the landscape, it's got. I think maybe in terms of indie films, it's quite difficult. Like I said, it's all dominated by juggernauts of other films. I think there's a lot of different avenues. So maybe like if you can't nowadays, people can view your stuff no matter what it is. Like beforehand, it was like you can only see it at a film festival, but now you've got YouTube and all those other platforms, so you can have a live somewhere else, so people can see your stuff. And hopefully that can be a way to get an audience. Because I think with all the things you make, because I think you just want an audience to see it. And if it's a good thing that, I think, I don't know whether it's, I think for indie filmmakers, it's just trying to find an audience somehow. So if you can use, all these different social mediums and other places to watch it, then I think that's a good thing for indie filmmakers. But in terms of like big budget stuff, I think nothing's really changed really. I think it's the same sort of massive, Avengers and Marvels and Star Wars. That's the same thing, but with an indie level, there's different platforms which people can sort of view it, which I think is good in changing. And that's going to help us.
What's the question
Hello
again?
everyone, my name's Jim Croft. I directed The White Arrow and...
No, not yet.
Where's
Jim? Sui, sorry.
What was this? What was what's the struggles with indie filmmakers? Is that
It's
right?
just like the landscape of how everything is, where we are in terms of film. Is there anything that you think, from a grand general audience perspective, you think could be lacking in terms of mainstream film?
I don't know. I mean, like, I'm not. I don't tend to generally watch these massive blockbusters. It's not. It's just. I'm a bit of I suppose, like a realist. Like I need to kind of like believe stories, and I don't really believe it when people are flying around. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Of course.
So I mean, that's kind of like that's obviously like a completely different spectrum of filmmaking, because with that amount of money, you can do anything. But I mean, yeah, I think I think the points have already been made. Like, I mean, we are in such a time where filmmaking is so accessible, and I've always been really aware of that. I've been aware that films are not like how I used to watch them when I was growing up, where I could only get them through one source basically, and it always seemed, to sort of thinking back now, it always seemed like impossible, like to do something like that. If I was in that situation like now, as a filmmaker, and I only had like one source of watching it through cinema or just on video or something like that. So having the total spread of being able to utilize social media and stuff like that, I think is a really, really good thing. I think you just have to try to, I don't know. I mean, with filmmaking, it's such a personal choice. I mean, some people want to do it some people, want to do it for various different reasons. It's such a difficult thing to kind of pin down. And I think everyone's got I think everyone's got their own voice, but obviously there's just so many filmmakers these days, isn't there? There's so many films, and that's what you're kind of battling up against. It's just loads of and if they are independent, there's just loads of content basically, and you kind of get lost in the sea. If it is we're talking about short films and low independent filmmaking, you get lost in the sea of short films, and you kind of don't really know what people want from filmmaking anymore. But as long as you sort of I suppose what I'm trying to say is, as long as you stick to your own interpretation and why you decided to do it, I think that's always going to be a really kind of shining beacon for you as a filmmaker, in order to kind of people to really grab your grab what you're trying to say through your storytelling. Yeah.
Horace, do you have anything to add, or?
I guess independent filmmaking, back to 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when we talk about independent film, we'll link to art house, something very slow, long shot, But these days, I guess it's different, because as we already talked about, learning filmmaking is not you don't have to go to film school. There's so many ways you can learn. Even a young kid, they constantly look at YouTube. They can know how to make their own film these days. They can make a film. Can be as good as all these commercial film. They try to make. So I guess I don't have much to say, to be honest. But but I guess independent filmmaker. Yeah, I mean, these days, before that, we used to, okay, if you want to get a film distributed, the only way you can do that is logging on to the distributors, try to be with their friends.
Like sales agents, distribution.
Yeah, not anymore. Now, you can do online distribution. You can have Amazon, Netflix. There's more outlet for the independent filmmakers. So I guess times has changed.
That's great. That's all valid points. I think probably the last question of the day would be talking about your other projects. So is there anything else in the pipeline that you're in the works with that you can possibly share? So yeah.
I'm making a massive superhero film.
That sounds great.
With sandwiches and curry and all these lads are invited. No, I'm not. I'm just trying to pay my rent and just keep going and keep making films and keep getting better and making new friends, and that's what it's all about, really. We're not all gonna end up, being the next James Cameron or whoever making these huge, amazing films. But it's I've got a lot of respect for guys like that who go and make a feature film, hook no crook. And just get it done, because no one will be able to take that away from you. You've made your film, you've shared your voice, and that's the most important thing, and that's all you can do, really. So, yeah, and I'll keep trying to do that. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just because it takes so much energy to make each kind of individual thing. So like I said, you have to go back to life and try to earn the money to kind of reset yourself to kind of make the next thing. So in terms of what I'm going to do next, I'm kind of making a little web series with my friend, and then hopefully sitting down trying to write my next short. So try to do like one a year, because I've made like 3 or 4 shorts before. So to try to do one a year, but obviously it takes like that year to reset myself and try to like earn the money and try to like get the energy, because it's quite tiring. After you finish making it, you kind of think like, I'm like kind of knackered, and you kind of like, I don't want to do that, because it's always quite a horrible experience, because it's so tiring. But then a year later, you always think like, actually, it wasn't too bad actually, and then kind of like, you don't mind going back and like, let's make another one, man. So hopefully, in a few months' time, I'll sit down and try to write something else.
I've not got anything in the pipeline at the moment in terms of like filmmaking, and but I am constantly trying to write. You know, I mean, I don't succeed in it very often, but I do have like a few things. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I think it's just the same, like, you know, by the signs of these guys, that, you know, we have to, like, we have to earn a living, and, you know, filmmaking is a very, very hard thing to really, like, see from the beginning till the end, basically. Yeah, I mean, you know, but listening to these guys talk and just being inspired by, just films in general that I watch is one of the things that keeps me going. So hopefully someone will give me lots of money at some point, so I don't need to make any curries. And I can just get everyone on board.
And Horace, you're working.
Yeah, I mean, after that feature, I finally going crazy again, making another feature this year. Micro budget. Really want to cry. It's really difficult. We started first unit production this April. Again, you know, took advantage of the time when my wife and the family are not around for a few weeks. You know, then I started the first unit. I have my lead actor coming with me today, Jack. Yeah, he's my lead actor for this new feature film. So. We're going to finish this after this month, and for the photography, I mean principal photography. Then we'll go back to the post-production. But I can guarantee this time won't take 4 years, because no special effects, no VFX. Just get to the drama, get it done. Hopefully by the
hard labor.
Hard labor, yeah. Because we do a lot of surveillance office, a lot of CCTV shots. I try not to get any green screen or any special effects. Just get the real footage, you know, film it and then show it on TV. Get a couple TV, show it, you know, and or monitors, and let's do it that way. Like no green screen, no compositing or final touch up. You know, don't do that. You know, just
green screen, isn't it?
yeah, it's take forever. You know, because yeah. So yeah, I mean, hopefully, in future you guys can see it.
Well, thanks so much for your time and your contributions, and congratulations on your films, and look forward to seeing more from all of you guys. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.